Today, I'll be taking us through the process of making a corset pattern. Like any skill, you need to work on your foundation. Makeup artists will tell you they are doing skin prep. We fashion designers too, we have our clothes prep, and that is our patterns. If your patterns are not correct, if your patterns are not top notch, there's nothing you want to do. If you're working with a trashy pattern, there's no way your final design is going to come out well. For us to eliminate that problem, I'll be dropping a lot of pattern videos. So today I'll be teaching us how to draft a standard and a basic corset pattern. Hopefully today again or tomorrow morning, I'll be posting how to draft a basic buzz cut pattern. I'll still drop a basic princess cut pattern. So by the time we know how to draft all these patterns, it will be easy for us to make a standard outfit that will look peng and look fine. So you would want to stick around for that. Let's get right into the tutorial. Of this tutorial, like I said, you'll be needing your basic measurements for the corset. You need your bust, you need your waist, and you need your top length. That's basically all you need. The back measurement is not that important, but let's just get right into it. And as you can see, I already marked my lines. This is my starting point. This is my breast point, this is my under bust, this is my half length, and this is my top length. For this person, as you can see, our bust measurement is 34, so this is the breast cut size we'll be using for her. I already have a video teaching us how we'll get the perfect breast cut measurement. The next thing to do now is to locate our neck depth, take our measurements, and just place our cup how we want it and how we want it to look. Like, this is basically the simplest method you would ever find. Let's get right into it. What I did here was mark 7 inches from my starting point, and I took ½ inch all the way down to my under bust. Just look at what I'm doing very closely, you are going to understand. You might be wondering why I did that. That is to make it easy for me to locate my neck depth and to curve it out. The next thing to do now is to place my cup from the starting point of the line I just drew now. Look at what I'm doing very closely. And as you can see, I tilted my cup because that's the design I want. You can decide to just leave yours. You can decide to straighten yours. You can decide to turn it upside down. You can just get creative with it. It depends on the style you are trying to make. But for mine, this is the shape I want. You might also be wondering why my cup is not reaching my under bust. I will still explain the reason for that, but now just keep watching. Okay, so the next thing I did was to take my measurements and add 2-inch allowance. You're obviously going to divide your measurements by 4 and add 2 inches allowance. And I'm just, curving out and smoothing out my measurements. For my side seam, I made that 8 inches. That is how low I want it to be. That means I measured 8 inches from my starting point. And for my neck depth, I made that 10 inches. As you can see, I already wrote the reference so that it will be easy for me to remember. The next thing to do now is to do my dart manipulation. Now I want you to look very closely and pay attention to this part. As you can see, I didn't fast forward it. I want you to get every bit of it. For my dart manipulation, I made sure they are 3 inches apart. That means I measured 3 inches and drew my first line. I measured another 3 inches and drew my second line. And for this tutorial, I'll be drawing just 2 lines because my length is on the small side and our waist is 28. So for my darts, I took 0.5 inch on the first side, 0.5 inch on the second side, both under bust and half length. And I just took the line all the way down. So as you can see, I already cancelled that place so that it will be obvious that that is my dart because we'll be cutting it away. The next thing to do now is to add my seam allowance to the side, and I'm just adding ½ inch. Since the cloth is going to have eyelets at the back, we want it all snatched. I'm not adding much allowance because, like I said, it's going to have eyelets. If yours is going to have zip, you can add as much as 1 inch or as much as 2 inches. There's literally no rules to these things. You just have to be creative and work around to achieve what you want. Like you can see me doing now, I'm only adding ½ inch because we are going to be having eyelets. You already know if it's going to be zipped, then you need to add more allowance. So it's very, very simple to get and understand. Now, if you remember, I added 2 inches to our measurements the other time. Now we've removed that 2 inches from our dart because we already did our dart manipulation, and we took 0.5 inches on both sides. So that means we have 1 inches for our dart. Do you understand? So we already took out 2 inches like that. So now what we have on this pattern is our basic measurement. And what I'm doing now is to show you that you can mark out the desired shape you want from your pattern. You can map it out how you want it to be. If it's going to be U shape or V shape, whatever shape you desire, you can mark it out from your pattern. Personally, I always prefer to join my pieces together before mapping out any desired shape I want. But you know, we have different preferences, so you can decide to map out yours before joining your pieces together. It's still going to give you the same result. But for the essence of this tutorial, I won't be marking it out. So I'm just showing you that you can decide to map it out or you can leave it as it is. So the next thing to do now is to label our pieces so you don't make mistakes, and that is 1, 2, 3. You can see that we don't have a cup right now, so there's no cup to label because we'll be covering our cup with whatever fabric it is we are working with. Do you understand? So the next thing to do now is to cut out our pieces. For this one, please look very closely. You can see that I am cutting way below the cup line, and that is the explanation that I said I will give the other time, because now we have to take out that dart allowance. We have to cut it out, and that automatically make the space for joining our cup smaller. Do you understand? So it will be too small for us to join the cup, so we need to widen that space, and that is why you see me cutting below the line. The next thing to do is to cut out my neck piece. You can see I already shaping it. I already gave it the shape that I want, which is the U neck, the sweetheart neck. So as you can see, I'm just taking out my dart lines. Please don't forget to always notch your prominent areas. It makes it easy when you are joining them. As you can see, I notched my under bust and my half length, so this makes it easy for me when I'm joining them on the machine. This is our final pieces. As you can see, we already marked them. Please don't forget to add your ½ inch seam allowance on fabric. My next video is going to be how to cover up your cup. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Bye.